Hey guys, what's going on? Another Friday video. If you have been paying attention because you're a fan of mine, this would be video number 4 that I've posted today. What y'all think about that? There's nobody out there doing the work I'm doing. It's easy for y'all. All you gotta do is watch and laugh. That's it. Have fun. Pass it around. Topic of the day: Great Grandma's naked man story. And I'm gonna tell you what the story is. Now, how many of you were lucky enough to meet and live with your great grandmother? I ask that question a lot, and many people don't know who they are. I got blessed by that. I think I got blessed by that because my great grandmother had my grandma when she was young, and then my grandma had my mom when she was 15. Don't say nothing. This is back in the old days, the days before the rules now. And my grandma was married, by the way, when that happened. And then my grandma immediately had my mom. So they were all just a few years apart, not the usual 20, 25, 30 years apart. So that's why I was able to meet her. Sorry about that little hiccup on my video, guys. But, you know, when you're filming, out of the blue, somebody calls, a freaking telemarketer, and then for some reason the video decides to stop. You would think that the Apple guy would say, hey, if somebody's recording on their phone, it's because there's a purpose. So if a call comes in, it's gonna go straight to voicemail without disrupting the video. But no, I must be a freaking genius to figure that out. I guess they haven't yet. Where was I? Okay, so my siblings, no, wait a minute. My mom, my grandma, and my great-grandma were all pretty close together. Not too much of an age gap is what I'm trying to say. My great-grandma married a guy from the UK. Her dad was from the UK and from Spain. Let me rephrase that. Her dad was from the UK, her mom was from Spain, and she used to live in the UK. So she knows English from way back when in the 20s, 30s, right? And when I say English, I mean the UK English, not the American English. So my great-grandma had beautiful blue eyes, as I remember her now, white hair, very light skin. And for those of you who may not know this, when I was born, I looked like Tom Cruise. I had black hair, light skin, and blue eyes. And 6 months later, my freaking eyes changed to brown. And then I went from freaking Tom Cruise to becoming Ace Ventura. Whatever. Anyway. My great-grandma was the kindest person ever. But when she got pissed, she would lose all her faculties. And I'm not talking about your high school teachers. I'm talking about the faculties in your head, the little boxes in your head that keep you control of going ahead and choking somebody. Unfortunately, that was passed on to my grandma. And my grandma, when she got pissed, she would look around and grab a baseball bat, and she would not exert energy on going to hit you with it. She would throw the baseball bat at your head. What do you think of that? And then, of course, that got passed on to my mama and her brother. They're laughing all day long, and when they get pissed, they will kill you. And then guess what? The freaking thing passed on to me. Because when I get pissed, I see red and it's all over, baby. But I digress. We lived with my great-grandma. My mom moved to Orlando back in the 70s. She bought a 5-bedroom house, moved in my great-grandma and my great-grandpa. And we got to spend time growing up with her. I actually miss her, and I miss my great-grandpa too. But she was raw. And when I say raw, I don't mean hood raw like now. I mean the real gangster raw. Gangster from Chicago. And for some reason, she always liked my little brother more than the rest of us. Because if my little brother cried or yelled or said something about me or my other brother bothering him, and she could hear that, we had to run for our freaking lives. What do you think of that? Has that happened to you? I remember one time back in the 70s, little kids, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I don't know, the wrestling, Eddie Graham Sports Stadium, who invented wrestling in Florida, was just a couple miles from my house, and everybody was watching wrestling. And the first time I saw the figure 4, where people tied your legs up and then the other guy's on his back yelling and screaming and he can't stop, I said, I got to try that. So I called my little brother and I said, little brother, let's try this wrestling move and see what happens. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. We got on top of the bed. I said, give me one leg here and one leg here, and let me see what happens. And then when I threw myself back, like old Dusty Rhodes used to do, out of the blue, my little brother starts yelling and screaming at the top of his freaking lungs like I broke his leg. And I'm like, what did I do? This thing really works. What is this? And next thing I know, the door swings open and I see my freaking UK great-grandma. Her blue eyes were still blue, but they had red inside. And when she opened the door, she yelled in her freaking English, "What's the matter?" And when I looked and she saw me, I guess she saw my guilty ass face, and she came after me, and I had to jump from one bed over the air into the other as she tried to grab me. And from here I had to take off and run out the door, close it, and go hide somewhere. Lucky for me, she immediately stopped chasing and she went to attend to my little brother. After that, I blanked out because I don't remember what happened. All I know is that I hid, and I don't know for how long. After that, I can't remember. Was it days? Weeks? Somewhere under a bed in a closet? I don't know. But it must have been traumatic because there must have been no food or water because I don't remember anything after. All I remember is I never tried the figure 4. And then out of the blue, they're gone. Age came and they're gone. Why am I telling you this story? Because I want you to understand my great-grandma and her rawness. And there's only 2 things that as a little boy, I remember that she taught me. Because the whole neighborhood used to come to her to get injections done, so she was a practicing nurse on the side, so she was a hustler. Maybe I got that from her. Anyway, she taught me 2 things. Number 1, she said, anything that eats poops. No matter how fancy they are, how many jewels they're wearing, the fancy dresses, don't worry, child, because if they eat, they gotta poop and smell out. I don't know why I never forgot that. But now here's the one that got me. Are you ready? This is the one that penetrated me big time. My grandma tells me one day, And I don't know why. Again, I'm a little kid. She says, do you know what the ugliest thing on earth is? And of course, I'm a child and I'm trying to think, okay, let's play this game. What is the ugliest thing in this world? And then I'm thinking and I cannot come up with anything. And you know what her freaking answer was? She said the ugliest thing in the world is a grown man naked. I'm going to give you a few seconds to digest that. The ugliest thing in this world is a grown man naked. Now, I was a little kid. No puberty, no nothing. So I'm thinking, well, I don't remember seeing my dad naked ever. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. But for some reason, I never forgot that. And I'm now 50-something years old, and I remember all the time. As a matter of fact, when we talk and chill with co-workers and whoever, I always tell this story. One time I told some of my closest lady friends what my grandma said, thinking that they were going to agree. And instead of them saying, oh yeah, man, forget it, it's the ugliest thing ever, they said the opposite. They said, your great grandma was dead wrong, honey. And one after the other agreed. And you know what I said to them? I said, y'all a bunch of freaks. That's why you're saying that. Because I personally believe that my grandma was right. What do you think of that? Shall we go over some of the manly features that I think are hideous? Number 1, baldness. Now, of course, when you first go bald, you don't know what the heck is going on. But when you start creating your look, your personality, your profile, because you have no freaking choice, then things tend to look a little better. And as you let go of the old people in your past, junior high, high school, and you get into college, and then people know you how you are now, then they don't know what they're missing. They don't realize that I used to have a humongous lack of beautiful hair, thick as F. I had to do mousse and all kinds of gels because it was amazing. Patrick Swayze had nothing on me. And then one day I started noticing hair on my freaking pillow. Then I would grab my hand like this and pinch hair, and 5 or 10 would be there all the time. Every time I did it, and I'm like, something's going on. But some people are worse than me. In their low 20s, they get bald. I wasn't like that. What else can we say about men? Hair all over the freaking body. Really? What's the deal with that? The simian look, and for those of you who don't know what that is, the ape look, full of hair, has been out since the 70s. I may have to do a video on how the new men must shave their legs, armpits, manginas. Yeah, I have to do one. If you need a shaver for that, by the way, look at my video from last week called The Perfect Mangina Shaver. And that's what you need to get on Amazon for 35 bucks. But I digress again. What else can we say? Sometimes we walk funny, like Frankenstein. Sometimes we don't know how to say I'm sorry. Sometimes we are loud AF for no freaking reason. I mean, can I go on? There's a million freaking things. But a grown man naked, now that's where it's at. Because you can have a hairy guy put on a UCF shirt and nobody knows he's got a hairy back. You can sit at a restaurant in a fancy neighborhood like Park Avenue, Winter Park, and have a stogie. And somebody says, hey, that's a classy guy. And then you get up and go home and you're a freaking disaster. We can fake it all. But a grown man naked look? So I'm gonna have to give my great grandma, who I miss very much, 2 thumbs up. 1 for letting me know that no matter how people in society are way up there, it all comes down to the same thing. They eat and they poop, so don't let them fool you. And when they poop, it ain't roses, baby. And number 2, I agree 100%. When you look at a lady's body, you see curves, you see softness, you see no hair, blah, 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 right? Beautiful. When you look at a man, let's just say it's the opposite of all that. And I'm not going to talk about the mangina, because what can we say about that? Anyway, guys, I don't know why that came to mind and why I decided to share this video with y'all, but I want you to do my test. When you have friends over, do this face to face. Don't be texting because it'll ruin it. Or you can FaceTime. Call your favorite buddies, and by buddies I mean ladies, and say, hey, tell me if this is true. Is the ugliest thing in the world a grown man naked? Now the answer should be, hell yeah! If you get the, oh no, that is not right, that is wrong, that great grandma from the UK knows nothing, in that case, hang up immediately or say hasta la vista, because you're talking to a freaking freak. In my opinion, of course. Well, guys, until the next video, and I don't know what I'm going to be putting out there for you this weekend. I have many things in my table here that I need to discuss. Just keep an eye out. And I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel. Just hit the subscribe and then the bell so that you get notified of my next video. I'm trying to be cool here. And then hit me a thumbs up if you agree with my grandma that a grown man naked is the ugliest thing on earth. And give me a thumbs down if you think that my great grandma is not right. If you do not agree with my great grandma or me, thumbs down. But I sort of have a feeling that the thumbs up are gonna win, because it's the freaking truth. In my opinion, and in my UK great grandma's opinion. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care. I'm out.